Hi and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Just woken up, it's Sunday. I wanted to have breakfast, but there is a problem in my kitchen. Let's have a look. The problem is that I've got all this studio gear still set up from my Florian Schneider tribute last night. So I figured I need to make a video for you guys before I can make breakfast. So let us do that now, and let's break down this and explain very quickly how it all works. So everything is being driven from this, which is the Roland TR-606 drum machine. Let's just play the rhythm. Now that is a sort of numbers style break beat. Now I originally did a version which was a bit slower with a 4 to the floor. But I decided it was a little too staid, a little timid, so I sent a demo version to a friend of mine, Matt Needer, shout out by the way. He said, oh, you need to you know, rev up the drums a bit. Now if we look at the back of the 626, you'll see there's these two trigger wires which are set from the tom patterns. And we also have this sync output which is going to the 303. So let's go over those now. Let's do the 303 first. So that's fairly simple. There's an old synchronization standard that old Roland gear uses called Sync 24. So it goes out of the 606 and into the 303. Let's have a listen to the 303 pattern. Now that's just the old Robots bass line. The 303 then goes through the Boss BE5, which I have explained before on the channel, but let's quickly go through those settings again. So we've got overdrive, distortion and the delay. And I use the feedback delay at the end of the track. We've also got the chorus which is switched on. I was in two minds about putting the chorus on it. It doesn't sound entirely natural, but I did think it sounded a bit better with it. Now there's no actual traditional bass line in this track. I mean, obviously the 303, it has bass line written on it, but when you start bringing in the resonance of the 303, it does cut out a lot of the bass, and I think the overdrive distortion on the BE5 removes bass as well. So what I've done is to crank the bass to maximum on the mixer. Now the low tom trigger, which is this blue wire, is going in to the Behringer MS-101, which is a really nice clone of the Roland SH-101, which is a classic mono synth from the 80s. And I've patched the low tom signal into the internal sequencer of the MS-101. So what that means is the notes are stored in the MS-101, but the information about when to play them is stored in the 606. And when I play it, I've displayed the low tom. You'll see the LEDs go by and you'll be able to hear when it plays the MS-101. So let's go. So that's the little melody there. But we also have the high tom output, this yellow wire, which goes into this Korg SQ1 step sequencer. And that is running the two notes which go on in the background, the do 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 do. But it'll probably be easier if I just play it. I'll switch to the high tom trigger so you can see what it's triggering actually on. So this whole thing is running on CV gate. The output here is patched directly into this CS-5, which I've sort of kind of rudely, I would say, put on the floor. That means that this whole rig is synced with analog signals and there's no digital at all, which normally I resort to MIDI for at least certain things, but I guess it's sort of more craft work to, or 1970s craft work anyway, to use analog sync signals. Now actually these whole bottom row of 8 steps has notes, and I do switch between the notes while it's playing, so I'll just demonstrate that quickly. And I kind of jam that section in live. So that's all the sound sources, but there are some other effects going on, namely one of my favorites, which is this Zoom RFX 300, which is providing a reverb, and I've set it to the ambient setting. Let's just listen to it on the riff. Which is nice and spacey. And the last thing we need to cover, which we always do, is the compressor. So I'm going to play with and without the compressor so you can hear the difference. So that is with the compressor, and without. So it just makes it pop a little bit more. So that's the breakdown of my Florian Schneider tribute jam. I'm going to have something to eat now. First of all, I need to clean up all my synths. I really don't know why I decided to put them in the kitchen. I definitely wouldn't recommend having a studio in your kitchen. It's very inconvenient. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.